Trojan Sports Now.
Hello and welcome to our homecoming week of Trojan Sports Now. I'm Danielle Percival.
And I'm Jonathan Sellers. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Sports.
Well, it's November now and some of the fall sports are wrapping up, but that doesn't mean Trojan sports action will be over until the spring. Basketball is right around the corner and the Trojan men's basketball team kicked things off Tuesday night. Court is in session. While it's not the regular season just yet, the Trojan men's basketball team did hit the court for the first time this season in an exhibition match against West Alabama Tuesday night and picked up a victory 84-67. An exhibition game may not seem like a big deal, but this was the first opportunity the Trojans have had to display their new up-tempo style of basketball they plan to play this season. Head coach Don Maestri says though the team got out to a bit of a slow start, they found their rhythm.
I think we were a little jittery in the beginning, and one reason why we missed some shots early, but got a little comfortable and got better with what we were trying to do in terms of pressing and playing really up-tempo basketball.
Troy is looking to play at a much faster pace this season, and that can be noted by the 80 shots they took during the game, near the season high from last year, which was 86 against Idaho State. Maestri said the goal is to wear the opponent down in the second half.
We are trying to exhaust people. We got exhausted at times. So, but that is part of the system, is to try to get people in the last maybe 10 minutes of the game where they don't want to keep playing that fast and they are tired, and maybe they'll miss more shots, not get as many rebounds.
One staple on this team is junior point guard Will Weathers, one of only 3 returners from last season. Weathers averaged 37 minutes per game a season ago, and keep in mind the game usually only lasts 40 minutes. Maestri said Weathers is a key player and leader on this squad.
Mo Weathers plays as hard as any player we've had since I've been here. If everybody can start playing with that type of intensity, then this system that we're trying to run will eventually pay off for us.
9 Trojans put points on the board, with Durante Clark leading the team with 16 points.
The volleyball team looked to snap a 2-match home losing streak over the weekend, but had to do so against the 2 teams at the top of the East Division. Friday night, the Trojans faced Middle Tennessee, a team that swept them earlier this year. This time, the Trojans and Blue Raiders battled back and forth, splitting the first 4 sets before Middle Tennessee claimed the 5th and final set, 15-10. Then on Saturday, the task got a little more difficult as Troy faced a team coming in with a 26-3 record in Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers were able to sweep Troy in 3 sets and hit 339 as a team in the match. The loss dropped Troy to 15-13 overall and 5-9 in Sunbelt play.
Saturday, the Trojan football team was looking to get back on the right track, stepping outside of conference play. The Trojans had lost 3 in a row and were looking to avoid their first 4-game losing streak since 2006. However, the midshipmen proved to be too much for this team to handle. In their final non-conference matchup of the year, the Trojans traveled to Annapolis looking to take down the midshipmen. But at the end of the day, Navy pulled away from Troy and handed the Trojans their 4th loss in a row by a score of 42-14. The main story heading into the game was how the Trojan defense would handle Navy's triple option offense. But according to head coach Larry Blakeney, the issue turned out to be the Trojan offense and the misfires at the beginning of the game.
We got off to a pretty good start in the game. We got a stop, I believe, against Navy and got going offensively and looked like we were going to move the football readily, have 2 turnovers on 2 drives, and it was just like you stuck a pin in a balloon. You know, we went flat.
The Trojans were down by just a touchdown heading into the second quarter, but the midshipmen tacked on 28 more points before the half to lead the Trojans 35-0 at the break. Despite quarterback Corey Robinson making the start, quarterback Jamie Hampton led the Trojans coming out of halftime. Blakeney said it was an attempt to light a spark in this team.
Trying to do something to generate some energy and hopefully something positive. Sometimes you can take a quarterback out and let him stand over there and watch, and he sees more than he does when he's out there. Or it motivates them in some case.
Despite having a record of 2-6, this team still has the chance to win out and finish the season at 500. Defensive tackle Kyle Lucas says it's all about this team pulling together.
We got to mesh well together. A lot of things got to come together. But basically it just comes down to executing on Saturdays and we haven't been doing that the past 4 games.
The Trojans are currently in their first 4-game losing streak since 2006, and Blakeney says this team is in uncharted waters and looking for a way out.
And we may be in a state of fog, sort of, and we're trying to find a way out of the fog. And the fog can be totally separated, and the light can come through with one win.
The rodeo team was on the road for the final time this fall as they took part in the Southern Arkansas Rodeo. The women came in 3rd overall, with the men finishing 6th. Whitney Hazuri won 1st in the breakaway roping, while Brittany Drawdy finished tied for 3rd in barrel racing. For the men, Nelson Wyatt came in 2nd in steer wrestling. The Trojans have the week off before returning home for the Trojan Stampede Rodeo.
The Trojan men's golf team participated in the Amelia National Intercollegiate this past weekend and finished the tournament in 6th place out of 15 teams with a 3-round score of 888, just 1 shot behind the 5th place team Xavier and 45 shots behind the leader and host team North Florida.
Last year, pitching seemed to have the upper hand during the college baseball season. With new bats in play, run totals and long balls were down. But if this fall is any indication, that may change. In the culmination of the fall schedule, the Trojans totaled 47 runs in 2 games in the Trojans Fall World Series. The black team swept the 2 games, winning 15-9 and 14-7. There were 5 home runs hit in Game 1, while the black team added 16 more hits in Game 2. Nate Hill picked up the win in Game 1, with Thomas Austin earning the W in the clincher. The Trojans open up the regular season on February 17th when they take on Central Michigan.
Well, we liked it so much last week, we're going to do it again. And once again, you bring us the question.
This week's question actually comes from Dothan Eagle Troy, which is Drew Champlin, the Troy beat writer for the Dothan Eagle. He asked kind of in jest, when will Troy Hoops get Duke, UConn, and North Carolina to come to Trojan Arena? Well, we know that may be just a bit of a reach, but we're going to run with it. Go ahead.
Well, like you said, that might be a little bit of a reach, might be a little bit of a stretch. But I think that is one of the goals of building this new arena, of bringing something of this caliber to the university, is to try and bring in those big teams.
Well, and that actually all starts next year when it opens with Mississippi State at home. It'll be the first ever SEC team to come into Troy for basketball, and that's big. I mean, bringing an SEC team right away will be big for the university, and it maybe open up some other teams coming in. Maybe, and we already have UAB, but teams maybe like a Auburn coming in or Alabama like they have with baseball because of the upgrades in that facility. So maybe with the basketball upgrading their facility, that could happen.
Well, in upgrading facilities, you kind of think, well, maybe that's moving toward possibly getting into a bigger conference, because that's one of the steps that you would have to take to be able to get into one of those bigger conferences. But with conference realignments, that's really a question now with football added into that discussion. Well,
we'll have to see how it all starts. And as you said, conference realignment is really crazy, and it definitely starts with football more than anything. But right now, I think the facility, what it's going to do is recruits are going to come in and see it. They're going to love it.
Right.
That's going to bring in better recruits. Better recruits, you get better teams, and better teams, you get victories. With victories, people start coming in, and then you get more money from the fans, and then you're able to build other facilities and upgrade, and that all kind of goes back to where you were heading with conference realignment.
Well, exactly, and better facilities, that's kind of where we all started with this discussion.
I mean, and once we get basketball finished, I know there's looking at softball and tennis. So if we can get on the right track, bring in better opponents, bring in better teams, then it's kind of like a big snowball going down the hill. It can all accumulate into what they want to do, and maybe go to a higher up conference somewhere down the line.
Absolutely. And next week, if you want to send in your question, be sure to send it with a hashtag using Trojan Sports Now. And it's homecoming week, so there are lots of things happening around campus. We'll fill you in on all the details.
But first, we'll take a look back at our interview with men's basketball coach Don Maestri as they get ready for their season opener. Stick around for more Trojan Sports Now.